What is up, guys? Today we're kind of going back to my roots, what I started this channel doing and looking at some in-depth stuff that will actually help you be a better player. For this video, how to stop sucking in lane and losing it. Let me know if you enjoy this stuff, like it if you did, but let's jump straight into it. So where you position in lane actually determines a lot of things, like how aggressive you can be, whether you get kills or not, whether you can CS or deny the enemy CS, whether you can trade or let them trade against you, whether you die to ganks or get kills from ganks. All of this stuff, while being very different, it all starts from how you position yourself in the lane. Obviously that is way too much to go through in one video, but we can break it down into something I use all the time, something that when I was first climbing properly I used to stop losing my lane, and I still use it even now. Some of you might do this without thinking, but this is how I make sure I don't lose my lane, and especially I don't lose trades. It's simple, it's easy to do, and I'm going to put it in a way that anyone watching this video, whether you're bronze, you're plat or higher or lower, you could still use this. Imagine there is an invisible line between you and your opponent, kind of like a tether, like what I'm showing you on screen. But believe it or not, this magical line that is only in your head is actually the easiest way to improve positioning and the basis for winning or losing your lane. To start with, like for this video, we want this line to be about the same all of the time, or simply have like the same distance between us constantly. That is our default position. This is the I don't want to fight you and I'm not going to lose my lane to you line. By keeping the line the same, it is literally impossible to lose your lane and trade badly. If they move forward, then we're going to move backwards. We keep the same distance and they can't do anything. If they move to the right side, then we move to the left side to maintain the same distance. Remember, a line going diagonal like this means we have to keep the angle, or we have to move backwards to keep the same distance. This is my point, okay? By keeping this imaginary line between the two of you, you will never trade or take any damage. You're always out of range. So the range is a little bit different. Effective range is something we have to think about for the length of that line. So a Caitlyn like has a long auto attack range, right? The distance of the line is going to be longer. A Twitch has a lower range, so the distance line can be shorter and you'll still be out of range. A Lucian has quite a low range as well, but he also has a dash, so his effective range is going to be auto plus dash range. You have to consider whether he's able to dash though. Like if he is strong enough to dash into you, then you have to add them together. If he can't dash in because it's going to be too risky for him, then it's only the auto range. For mid lane, like an Ari, right, her effective range is her orb or her charm distance, and Annie is going to be her key range to stun you. This line is going to be for trading and laning. It's not really used when they are going to try and actually kill you. Like they could flash, they could Ari out to close in, but it's hard for them to do that if they haven't traded before. This is one of the first things I ever teach people about laning, honestly. No matter whether they're diamond or they're bronze, like I always go over this first, and it's surprising how many people just don't understand it. It's really hard to teach you the ins and outs of trading like in a nutshell in one video, but it's really easy to show you a way to stop losing, and then we can kind of work on starting to win. So we have the basics, right? If they move forward to hit you, then you move back and they can't do anything. If they move to the right of the lane, you move to the left of the lane. If they move backwards, then you can actually walk forwards and have some more pressure without putting yourself in any danger. Using it kind of like this will stop you taking free damage. Now this is mostly a way to stop losing your lane. To be honest, it's more effective as a defensive tool because out of range means no damage. There are like very few things to think about to do it. We can turn it on its head though and use it against our opponent a little bit. So like if they walk forwards, we're going to move backwards now unless we want to fight, right? That's the basic thing. The thing is, on its head, if you're walking forwards, then they are probably not going to walk backwards. We can shorten this line if we want to go aggressive. By moving forward, we're putting ourselves in range to trade with them, and they most likely aren't going to walk backwards out of range. We can walk directly forward in range to use our cooldowns or auto, but the easier version, probably the safer version, is to move to the same side. It kind of closes the distance but puts you in range without looking as threatening, and also moving to the side makes it harder to hit skill shots on you. So if we're stronger in the lane, we want to be the ones moving forward on that line and either forcing them backwards or for them to take damage. Now this is where we start getting into the basics of lane control, mostly like trading, zoning, and getting kills from ganks. So the number one thing to do any of these things, you actually need to not take free damage in the first place, so we should have that covered now anyway. Trading wise, it's going to allow us to pick and choose correct trades. It doesn't really show us how to trade, but it lets us choose the right one. We can avoid bad ones by walking backwards and take good ones by staying or walking forwards. For zoning, if we're stronger, we actually want to deny CS, and we can use this line to do it. Walking forward on it will force them back or to trade with you. Because you're stronger, if they fight, we win. If they back off, then we can keep them away from the minions. We're using our effective range here to zone and mean that if they want to get the CS, they have to shorten the distance on the line and get hit for it. Ganking is kind of a bit of a weird one. It's more like mind games, I guess, but you can actually use this method against them. So if you move to the right and make it obvious, in theory, they're going to move to the left to get away from you. Well, that is kind of ideal when the jungler is sitting on the left side of the lane. You're able to force them to to either stand near you and take damage from you, or more likely they're going to move away from you into the jungler. So that is the line technique that I use and show people to instantly help them reduce damage they're taking from bad trades and to help do better in the lane phase. I did say this video will be two things though, and the second thing is kind of building on this. It's kind of like a safety net, looking at health potions but in a slightly different way. So the early lane phase, especially before your first base, just when you have like a Doran's Blade or Doran's Ring, whatever it is like a little mini game to see who can make the other one use their potion first. Potions mean a lot more earlier into the game because we have a lower health total and potions give a flat number of health back. In general, without a massive fight in the lane, without killing each other, this is what is actually going to help you win the lane, or I guess not lose it. So if we trade and we force him to use his potion but I don't use mine, then I have the advantage for the rest of the lane phase. I can take a trade that will lose us both half our health, but he's then left at half and I pop back to full. That gives me the health advantage and lane control. For this video, looking at like not losing a lane, I guess we kind of flip that around on its head. We want to try and avoid using our potion too early. Having that pot there is a safety net, basically our second chance at the lane. We mess it up once, we trade badly, that's fine. We can pot up, mess it up twice, then we're kind of in trouble. Using the line we have will make sure we don't actually have to burn our potion in the first place, ideally if we use it properly. If we actually take a bad trade though, there are two things. So first we can pot and heal back up, then we can use the line to stay safer. Taking more damage is worse now because we have no pot this time, so the line is going to let us actually avoid that damage. The second thing is we don't always need to pot after a bad trade. We can use the line to stay safer, not take as much damage afterwards, and regen that health back so we actually keep the pot for later. A lot of people use their potions too early. They put on like 75% or 60% health, which is fine if you're going to fight again straight away, but not if you let your regen do its job and play a bit safer while you heal back up. If you don't have to use your potion, basically, then don't. It's like a mini game and you want to try and make them burn their potions before you burn yours. Also remember, this is our safety net for the lane phase. If you're struggling at all, trading badly or in a hard matchup, then buy 2 potions when you base. It is 100 gold, but it's a handful of minions, and in general it's going to pay for itself easily because you're able to stay in lane longer and you're going to lose less minions to the tower. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This was more in depth than the stuff I've done recently, but let me know what you think. Remember to like, subscribe, comment and share, but for now let's go to the robots.